Okay, we're continuing here with the hidden history of science. This is Galileo, the great astronomer. And Galileo, he was a devout Roman Catholic. And he was friends with the Pope. But he started making fun of the Pope and mocking him in a book calling him Simplicio, simpleton. And, the church was wrong. They overreacted to Galileo because he had insulted the Pope. And he was put briefly on house arrest. He was never put in prison, okay? But it was wrong what they did. But I'm still going to make a point. This is nothing compared to what the modern corporations do right now. If a university professor contradicts the corporation that gives funding, they'll just get the guy fired. They'll remove all his funding. He'll be discredited. That's the end of it. The amount of censorship and harassment of people who make original discoveries today is 1,000,000 times higher than it was in these days. You can't do anything. Look at my work. I'm not allowed to publish in the journals. I'm banned from the university, okay? I'm shadow banned in the books that I write. My YouTube channel is shadow banned. They don't let the truth get out to the pros. They don't want the pros to know the truth. And it's 1,000,000 times worse today than it was before. Okay, but I'm still letting you know, here's Galileo. And, he didn't have proof for his ideas about the earth being, the sun being in the center. But like I said, it's 1,000,000 times worse now. You go ahead, try and say something works for cancer other than chemotherapy. See what happens to you. Okay, look what happens to you. You post a Gerson video, boom, it's immediately taken off. Okay. All right, here is Francis Bacon. And he was an Englishman, a devout Anglican. He's sometimes called the father of empiricism. That's really not true, though. Aristotle was on top of all that long before him. But he did emphasize the need for more empiric science before others were doing it, okay? He also said something that's very stupid, that science and religion should be kept separate. That's wrong. You cannot have science without religion. You can't. It all goes to poop because the profit comes from lying. So you need to have religion that says, be good, tell the truth, for whatever the reason. You'll burn in hell, you'll disobey the Ten Commandments, whatever the reason. Otherwise, people will not tell the truth. You see it every day. Almost all the nutrition science, all the nutrition journals are fake. They're owned by corporations, and the poor scientists are paid off to lie. And that's well-known fact, okay? It's like at least 80% of the articles are all bogus, all right? There's only one truth, and Aquinas had said that as well. And Catholicism kept the religion together. Protestant sects always keep breaking up into smaller things. You see the word science? I spelled it with the letter S for the $sign. Okay, so here is William Harvey, and he figured out, the first guy to figure out that the heart pumps blood everywhere, which I'm kind of surprised that they didn't know that sooner. Okay, and it also shows how stupid humans are in comparison with God. Here's Otto von Guericke, the German scientist, mathematician, inventor of the vacuum pump, pioneer in research of gas pressure, and another devout religious guy. All these guys are devout religious guys. And that's what science was all about. And they're the ones who figured out all the foundational stuff. This is all Christian scientists, Okay, here's Descartes, another Christian scientist, philosopher, okay, mathematician. Here's Robert Boyle, the Englishman, famous. He figured out Boyle's law, gas and volumes and pressures. He's one of the founders of the Royal Society in England. He's considered the founder of modern chemistry. He was working in the 1600s and with his work in chemistry then. Okay, another very religious man, Anglican. That's the story over and over. Devout religious guy, studies the Bible all the time, and does magnificent science, architecture. Here is Christopher Wren. Christopher Wren, designed St. Paul's Cathedral. He wasn't just an architect. He was also a Renaissance man, scholar. Okay, he was an astronomer. He's another one of the co-founders of the Royal Society in England for the promotion of science. Here is St. Paul's Cathedral in England. It's quite beautiful, but you'll notice Catholic churches are better. Catholic churches have much more ornate statuary on the outside surface, the flying buttresses, and then inside they'll have a better, higher, big old ceiling. This is nice, but Catholic cathedrals are way better, like in France. And they have better interiors, too. Okay, here's Isaac Newton at Woolsthorpe family cottage in 1665, Anno Mirabilis, the miracle year where there was a big plague in England, and he went off to be at his family's country home, and there he figured out, laws of physics, gravitational theory, optics, etc. He spent more time reading the Bible than he did studying science. He said, all my discoveries have been made in answer to a prayer. He who thinks half-heartedly will not believe in God, but he who really thinks has to believe in God. I have a fundamental belief in the Bible as the Word of God, written by those who are inspired. I study the Bible daily. All my discoveries have been made in answer to prayer. Atheism is so senseless. When I look at the solar system, I see the Earth at the right distance from the sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This did not happen by chance. He's the smartest guy who ever lived. Here's a painting called The Alchemist by Jan Matejko, the great Polish artist from 1867 there. Okay, we're almost done for today. I'll show you one more guy. This is Liebniz, Gottfried Liebniz, the German guy. He was a physician, but he's also co-inventor of calculus. By the way, Archimedes, the Greek engineer, mathematician, scientist, he had invented his own form of calculus, but Leibniz and Newton had a much more sophisticated version. Gottfried, Gott means God. He had said there is only God or nothingness, and that is correct. You either have God in your worldview and in your society, or you don't. If you have God in your world society, the Christian God, then man is created in the image of God, part divine. He's of exalted importance and value compared to the animals and everything else. If you don't have God, then man just defaults to atheistic Darwinism, and he just becomes a talking monkey, a talking ape, a talking primate. And as far as the rich people are concerned, the poor people are vermin. You don't have to take my word for it. They say this. If you read books about how rich people think, that's how they describe poor people. Okay? And that shows you what they think of them and what they believe their rights should be and their property and their free speech should be. None. Okay? So anyways, that's it for today. I hope you found that helpful.